Welcome back to GAA Fan TV. It is the live watch-along for Kerry and Mayo. The game has just thrown in there. Mayo actually just with an opening free there from Cillian O'Connor, who has put it over the bar, I presume, there. So, yeah, live watch-along stream here. Obviously, a little bit delayed due to the fact that Galway and Armagh went to penalties. And what an absolute spectacle that game is. You know, I feel like I nearly need a break after that game, like a lunch or something, or a half an hour break. I'm kind of nearly disappointed that this game has started so soon because, geez, I don't even know if I've had time to actually mentally get myself ready for another mental game of Gaelic football. Well, hopefully anyway. Mayo obviously with the opening score. We will get a score graphic up on the screen there as well. And I don't know if there has been any late changes there. I was listening to the lads in studio there in RTE. I don't think there's really been any late changes as of yet. Obviously, David Clifford with his first point of the game. So we're really off and running with a point each. If you could hit the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Do plenty of watch-alongs similar to this one, and still plenty of content to come as well. Mayo get caught in possession. Stephen O'Brien hits the post. Kerry are still in there. Falls now to Paul Gainey. He offloads it back. Kerry have a bit of space here, and they should take the point, and they do. A second point of the game for Kerry. Very explosive start, as we would expect. And Gavin White this time around, getting himself on the score sheet. I suppose that was going to be the big question, isn't it? You know, Mayo have had a couple of problems with the kickouts this year. But a really, really lovely score, you'd have to say, there from Gavin White. Lovely take. Rory says, who do you think will win? I think Kerry will win. In terms of a score prediction, we'll go 214 to 112. I think I said that on Twitter, so we'll stick with that one. None of my predictions have come off so far. In terms of score predictions, obviously, the Clare and Dublin winning was, Derry and Dublin winning was fairly, I think a lot of people predicted that. I did think Armagh would beat Galway. It didn't turn out that way, but I mean, geez, it went to penalties, so it really could have, to be honest. But yeah, Kerry 2 points to 1 up here in front. Definitely been a fast-paced start. I think it's important for Mayo to start fast because, they have been quite slow starting in a lot of their other games. Obviously, you think of that Galway game that against Kildare and Monaghan as well. Just a little bit slow out of the blocks, and they've kind of given themselves a lot to do going down the home stretch. And, I don't think they'll be allowed that from this Kerry side. Well, Mayo are attacking here, and they might have a chance here. Is that Jeremy O'Connor? Looks like he's put it over the bar. So shooting really, really on point here for both sides. I suppose the question was going to be as well, the Kerry and Mayo lads would have had a lot of time just sitting there in the stands watching that Galway Armagh game. This game was supposed to be nearly over now, to be honest with you. So it's definitely been a bit of a delay. Kerry going very direct from that kick out. Clifford gets it stuck under his feet. Looks like a potential injury for someone there. Was that David Clifford? I'm not sure. Or was it someone else? It was David Clifford. It looked like he might have rolled his ankle, but he's back on his feet now, and it looks like he's on the ball as well. Oh, another Kerry player's fallen to the deck. A lot of players slipping and sliding here. Definitely intense conditions here in Dublin at the minute. The rain is well and truly out, so it's definitely not the quite of weather you would expect to see in the end of June, early July, and it looks like it's playing its part there so far. You'd wonder who this kind of game suits more, to be honest. Probably Kerry. I think whoever kicks more is going to get a lot more joy. But to be fair to Mayo, they have been going quite direct at times as well. But 2 points apiece. It started fast, both sides offering a lot in terms of attack. It must be said. It was Conor Loftus with that point, actually, for Mayo, the second score. Kerry now venturing forward. Looking for David or for Sean O'Shea, who I presume was called a mark. So this will be a chance for Kerry to go back in front. Ben says, do you think Monaghan should have got a penalty back when they played Mayo 3 weeks ago? Yeah, I think they should have, but look, it's all said and done now. Sometimes you get these decisions, sometimes you don't. But Kerry, anyways, with I think that went wide, did it? I think it did. Definitely with conditions sort of being, there's a bit of a wind out there. The rain's absolutely pouring down. It's not going to favour kicking from distance as well, I think. So, this game being as big as a spectacle as we would have hoped for, probably not the case. And it looks like a lot of fans as well, just from, you're seeing a lot of empty seats. It was supposed to be fully packed. And now whether that's Armagh fans who've probably left the stadium, to be fair, but probably a lot of fans trying to stay out of rain here at the minute. Another foul this time on Cillian O'Connor, so it will be a chance for Mayo to go in front. Of course, the winner of this game playing Dublin. I think as a Dublin fan, I don't really know which team I'd rather play. I'd kind of, it's weird because if Mayo were to come through this, they'd have a lot of momentum going into that Dublin game. It would be a different Mayo side to the one we've seen. But I like the idea of Dublin playing Kerry in an All-Ireland semi-final where Kerry are massive favourites and then we just, spoil the party. That'd be kind of fun. But we'll obviously have to wait and see. Cillian O'Connor standing over it. You'd expect him to slot this one over. And he's put it wide. So, definitely kicking from frees and 45s and all the rest is probably going to be a bit of an issue, you'd say, for both counties. In my opinion, because with those weather conditions, you're probably not going to get as sweet a connection as you would want. Mayo winning the kick out, now in possession. Obviously, no Ryan O'Donoghue in the starting 15, which is a huge miss for Mayo. You've no Padraig O'Hara in there as well. Be interesting to see who's picking up David Clifford, but that's a really well taken point from Aidan O'Shea. And he gets a lot of criticism a lot of the time, and he's put over an absolute brilliant point there, to be fair. Really, really well taken point from Aidan O'Shea, and Mayo go point up. It's been a fast start. And it's definitely living up to expectations so far. Kerry in possession now with Sean O'Shea. Kerry are kicking very direct into the likes of your Cliffords and your Paul Gainey's, but they haven't really got much joy of it there. It looks like Oisin Mullen is the man picking up David Clifford from what I can see. David Clifford, obviously coming in with a bit of injury concern, but at the minute he looks okay, to be fair. Mayo have started fast. There's Kevin McLaughlin, late change, obviously coming in there. Kerry now breaking, and this is really where, you know, we said in the build-up where Kerry could have joy, is really breaking on the counter-attack. Stephen O'Brien goes direct into Clifford, but again, no joy, and Clifford is still limping. He's still limping. I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to continue there, to be honest. You know, he's been limping now for about 5 or 6 minutes, and I think maybe the best course of action might be to take Mr. Clifford off, to be honest. Mayo now with a chance to double their advantage. That's wide. That's poor, really, from one of the Mayo forwards there. Clifford judged to have... He sort of just tripped over the ball, didn't he? And then, I don't know if he's rolled his ankle or something, but obviously with the conditions, they're likely to play a big, big part. What minute am I on? I am on the 10th minute, halfway through there. Just following an RTE, so I should be on the same minute as everyone else. Yeah, it was a miss from Jack Carney there in front of goal. 8 minutes without a score from Kerry here so far, though. So, you know, they'll want to improve. They're going direct again, and they're getting a bit of space. And now's a chance for a goal, but it's wide. What an opportunity from Paul Gainey, and he flashes it wide. Direct ball, Mayo all over the place at the back. A huge opportunity. Flashes wide in the end from Paul Gainey there. Huge opportunity for Kerry, and you know, you would have really put your money on Gainey to have put that away. Mayo now going down the other end. Bit of poor shooting from both sides, you'd have to say, in the opening 10 minutes or so, but obviously conditions certainly playing their part. There's Conor Loftus. His shot drops short. Kerry now in possession again. You'd imagine they're going to continuously go direct, I'd imagine. I think Mayo, like, they'll be happy so far in the opening 10 minutes that they're in front, but at the same time, you know, Kerry have left probably 1-1 or 1-2 behind them there. I mean, Mayo have had a fair few missed opportunities as well in terms of scores. So, but they will want to, you know, they've gone nearly 10 minutes without a score here, Kerry. So they will want to get on the score sheet in the next couple of minutes. Rory says it kind of sounded like the ref's whistle even before Gainey took that shot. Yeah, obviously watching him without any commentary, so I'm not 100% sure. But I don't know if the referee did call it back or anything like that. But either way, it was surprising to see him put it wide, a player of his quality. But I'm sure Kerry will get a few more chances. They've lost possession again. They keep going into Clifford, but it's not really working at the minute. You know, you'd have to say that Clifford probably has a bit of an injury there, and you know, if you're Jack O'Connor at the minute, to be honest with you, you should probably just take him off and put someone else in a full forward to be that focal point, because, you know, there's no point in making Clifford's injury worse. You know, this is the All-Ireland quarterfinals. If you come through this, you still have 2 games to go. And even at that, you know, you keep surrendering possession, Mayo will punish you. Just taking the sting out of the game now, though. We could have the marksman really on either side out injured in this if Clifford was to make way. Mayo in possession now with Jack Carney. He offloads it into Aidan O'Shea. He's had a good game so far, Aidan O'Shea, to be fair. Can Mayo double their advantage? It would be, it would certainly be crucial from a Mayo perspective if they could do so. Just calm and possession here, though. Not really, no need to rush out, and Kerry sort of dropping back into that defensive shell. It'll be interesting to see if Kerry can force the turnovers. And they do force the turnover with David Clifford, and he plays it in there into Paddy Clifford. David Clifford with the ball back again. Now Kerry on the attack. They need a score. They need a point, really, to be honest. And you've now got Brian O'Buglock in possession. Kerry work it in. Are they going to get an opportunity? Surely this one's going to go over the bar. It looks like it is. And it is. Kerry get their third point of the game. And this time around, it's Tom O'Sullivan, the cornerback venturing forward there. So Kerry able to find themselves back in the game. 3 points apiece. Low scoring affair so far. Shooting maybe not quite there for both sides. Missed opportunities, but maybe conditions probably playing its part a little bit. Paddy Durkin offloads it in. Mayo have a bit of space here in front of them if they can work something. Is there going to be a chance here? Plays it back into Connor Loftus, who has seen a lot of ball here so far. And now back into speculative effort there. Kerry goalkeeper needs to get it. He does. Punches it back out. Kerry and Mayo now both in possession. For people watching, let me know your predictions of this game as well. 3 points apiece so far. Rory says the brawl with Armagh was ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, as I said in the match reaction there, I mean, of the Armagh Galway game, it was just mental, and Armagh, unfortunately, have found themselves in a couple of brawls this year. And I think ultimately their discipline has let them down, to be honest. I think that's probably, even though they lost on penalties, I think, discipline has been a big issue. And even if they went through, would they have kept off 15 players on the pitch against Derry? Probably not, to be honest. You could envision someone getting sent off there. I think James Morgan was pretty lucky to stay on the pitch as well, to be fair. A bit of an incident involving Aidan Nugent as well. So definitely a lot of questions. David Clifford stands over it. Is he going to put it over? Absolutely no mistake there from the free. He's still limping a little bit, but he's a tough cookie, Mr. Clifford, and obviously wants to carry on there for the moment. Mayo racing out the field with Oisin Mullen. It's been a while since Mayo have scored now as well. It must be nearly 10 minutes or so since they've got on the score sheet. They go direct into Jack Carney. It's a poor pass back into the Mayo midfield, and Kerry should now have a bit of space to break in behind. They're looking for that kick pass a lot of the time into the likes of Paul Gainey, the likes of David Clifford as well. Darragh Moynihan's picked up possession a couple of times, so they really have been kicking into that full forward line. Another chance here, maybe for a score, drop short. Robbie Henley with no issue there. Clifford's still limping a little bit, and Kerry management look fairly happy to keep it on. Zeal says, greetings from Mexico. Is a great GAA day. It sure is, my man. It sure is. Hope all is well with yourself. It's been it's been a crazy, crazy game. Or a crazy, crazy day. Obviously, the Armagh Galway game. I'm still trying to process it, to be honest. I think I may watch the game back when this stream is over, when this game is over, because just absolutely mental, to be honest. Kerry in possession now. Can they go 2 points in front for the first time in the game? Would be crucial. They've gone in there. Have Mayo turned it over? They haven't. Kerry able to run through. Bit of time on the ball. Is it Gainey? Looks over the bar. It is over the bar. Kerry go 2 points in front. Sean O'Shea this time with the score. Kerry move 2 points to the good. And you would have to say at the moment, Kerry very much taking the ascendancy now. Mayo have gone quite a long time without a score. You'd have to say nearly, Jesus, maybe what, 15 minutes, maybe nearly without a score. 8 minutes was the last time Mayo scored. So, 11 minutes without a score. They might get one here, though. And they have. Lovely finish there from Cillian O'Connor. Brilliant score. The Cillian O'Connor trademark, really, when he just hits it with his right, bends it over the bar. Trademark score. Mayo respond 5 points to 4. Good to see both sides getting their scoring boots on. But here come Kerry now with Clifford, and again it looks like he slipped. It's very slippy out there. It's an effort that does go over the bar from Darragh Moynihan. It looked like Clifford slipped again. He might need to change his boots or something. Not really. It's been a bit of an unfortunate evening, shall we say, for Clifford so far. It is going to go to Hawkeye, so we'll see what happens here. Looked over from Moynihan, but we'll see it again here. Nope, that's going to be wide. And it stays at a 1 point game. 5 points to 4 to the Kingdom. And yeah, the point getting overruled there. Ocean Gamer says, can you watch this on YouTube? Should be on RTE. You should be able to watch it there. Mayo in possession now. Be interesting to see can they follow on that point from Cillian O'Connor. We haven't really seen the best from either side, really, but Kerry are forcing a couple of turnovers at times. It is going to be pulled back for a foul, I think. But yeah, 20 minutes in, 5 points to 4. Not really much in it. Aidan O'Shea just on possession here. If Mayo can get the next score, that'd be crucial, really, to draw a level. Just looking at the scores so far, David Clifford with 2, Sean O'Shea, Darragh Moynihan. Darragh Moynihan's one was obviously overruled, but Gavin White and Tom O'Sullivan all on the score sheet. Cillian O'Connor with 2 points, Conor Loftus and Aidan O'Shea on the score sheet there as well. Robbie Henley standing over this one. He missed a couple against Kildare. This will be a big point. Can he nail the first one? And it looks over. It looks over the bar. And Robbie Henley slots it over, and Mayo draw level in the game. 5 points apiece. Rory says, I think I would want the Dubs to play Kerry to get revenge from the league. Yeah, well, I suppose there's revenge both ways, though, isn't there? I mean, you get revenge on Mayo as well. From the league and from last year's championship game. So, plenty of ways to get revenge on both sides. But yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see Dublin Kerry. It's 2019, the last time they played each other in the championship, and when you think about all that's been said about this Kerry side, and Dublin obviously being one of the best teams of all time, they haven't really played each other all too often in the championship in the last sort of 6-7 years. But here come Kerry on the attack. That should be slotted over from Gainey, I think it is. Does go over the bar. Paul Gainey with a point. Kerry go back in front. 6 points to 5. And Kerry at the minute in front by a point. Definitely very even game, very end-to-end. Really not much in it between both sides. Be interesting to see what happens here with Henley's kick out. Doesn't go anywhere. Gavin White wins it, plays it in. It looks like Mayo are going to get away with it though. Bit of a half chance really there from Kerry. Let's see if they could work an opportunity. Mayo going direct into the full forward line into Jack Carney. Definitely a lot of players slipping out there, though, it must be said. Conditions definitely playing their part there at the minute. Kerry in possession. Can they mark themselves another score in the game? Here they come, venturing forward. Lovely bit of play. Could there be an opportunity here for a goal? They're certainly looking for it, but an overhit hand pass, and Mayo will now be able to hit on the counter attack. Kerry have, they've got themselves into good positions at times, but they seem very fixated on a goal. Now in possession. Can Mayo work something here? They've kicked it directly into Jack Carney. Is that bending in? It looks like it is. Or is it going to go to Hawkeye? It is going to go to Hawkeye. Look like it just bent in, to be fair, but we'll obviously see what Hawkeye has to do here. Patrick says, I'm still not recovered from the first match. Absolutely, mate. It's the same with myself. Yeah, that's well over the bar there from Jack Carney. So he gets himself a score, and Mayo draw level again. 6 points apiece. It's been it's been very entertaining. Or very end-to-end, I should say. And now Kerry in possession of the ball. They kick directly into Paul Gainey. Can Kerry grab themselves another score and go back in front? Gainey sells the dummy. Kerry are just overcomplicating things here, in my opinion. Like, they're getting into scoring chances for points. They seem to be just second guessing themselves a little bit in front of goal. And, the more they do that, the more Mayo turn them over, the more Mayo will grow in confidence. And I think if you're a Mayo fan so far, you'll be happy with how this game has gone, because I don't think Kerry have been great here so far, to be honest. And Mayo might have a chance here to go in front. They're going to back themselves. Back themselves, they do. And what a wonderful score there. Outrageous point outside of the boot. A really, really well taken score from Stephen Cohen, the captain. And Mayo go in front. A point to the good. 6 points to 7. Mayo in front here. And they win the resulting kick out. And could Mayo do something here? But it's a poor ball inside. They give away possession. I think the chances have been there from Kerry in this game, but they've just been... It just hasn't quite been there. The cutting edge hasn't quite been there. Clifford's now in possession. Plays it in. Stephen O'Brien, jinking one way, then jinks the other. Now it's David Clifford. Is this going to be the goal? It is. Kerry have had those opportunities. They've had those chances. They've got into those shooting positions. And finally, they finish their dinner. Kerry won 6, Mayo 7 points. They've cut through Mayo a couple of times now in this game. And they do so again. Stephen O'Brien, excellent bit of work into Clifford. He looks like he's shaken off that earlier injury. Not a bother. Into the back of the net, the roof of the net, and Kerry go 2 to the good. And it's an important goal for Kerry, because Mayo had just started to stem the momentum. of Kerry, and they'd started to kind of just gain a bit of ascendancy in the game. They were a point to the good, and they were playing quite well, and Kerry were just being a little bit sloppy, but they'll take a bit of confidence, it must be said, from the from that goal, Kerry, and there's a wide from Lee Keegan. Let me know your thoughts on the game so far. If you are new to the channel, if you could subscribe, do plenty of watch-along streams, all the rest. And there will be a matchday vlog out a little bit later tonight of the Dublin-Cork Derry Clare game. It was in Croke Park yesterday. Quite the spectacle. Certainly not as full in, certainly not as packed in Croke Park as it is there today. Bit of carry on going on between Kevin McLaughlin and Stephen O'Brien, I think, there. Black cards come in there. David Goff is showing a black card to Aidan O'Shea, and Mayo are down to 14 men. I'd like to see a replay of that. I don't really know what it was for. I didn't see it. But Aidan O'Shea has been sent his marching orders, and Mayo will finish out the remainder of the first half with a man less. And this is really now a chance for Kerry to take advantage. My hay fever is absolutely ruining me, by the way. So apologies if I have to scratch my nose every 10 minutes or every 2 minutes. But here come Mayo now going down the other end. Good turnover. Owen says Donegal for Sam. Yeah, maybe in the next 20 years. Jimmy says Mayo's forward play, support play, simply not good enough. Yeah, I mean, it just hasn't quite been there. Just a few sloppy passes. They've kind of carried in that trend that we seen against Kildare and Monaghan. But at the same time, I think it's important for Mayo just not to fall too far behind. If it's going into the final 10 minutes and there's only 2 or 3 points in it, we know Mayo, their crowd, their fans, and sort of the way that they are, they'll be that push in the final 10 minutes, and you'd nearly fancy them to turn it around. So, even a scoreline like this, I don't think Mayo will be too worried at this moment in time. I know they're down to 14 men, but I think if that lead extends, if it becomes 2-8 to 7 points or 2-8 to 8 points or something like that, that lead starts to build. You'll probably see Kerry drop a lot more defensive, and then it becomes a lot tougher for Mayo to break through them. Mayo won't panic, says Patrick. Yeah, they certainly won't. I mean, a very experienced team, as we very well know. So there's not going to be any panic from them just yet. And you can see them here, calm in possession. Taking the sting out of the game. They're obviously down a man with Aidan O'Shea being sent off. Here goes Oisín Mullen on one of his runs, but it breaks back into the Kerry defence. Kerry will overturn. And this now maybe is where Mayo could be caught, because Oisín Mullen is pushed very far up the pitch. And if Kerry can work the ball quickly, they might just have a chance to overturn Mayo. And they do work the ball there into Stephen O'Brien. Now it's Dara Moynihan. He plays it out wide. Kerry on the attack, but it's a good turnover from Mayo. Brilliant stuff there from the Mayo defence. Lovely bit of work from Matthew Rowan, and Mayo now breaking down the other end. Conor Loftus or Jeremy O'Connor kicking in, but the Mayo, it's been called back here from David Goff. Are we going to see, is this for the black card? Aidan O'Shea and someone else there. I mean, it looks like both lads are involved there, to be fair. I don't know. Was it Aidan O'Shea who pulled him down? It'd be interesting to get a sort of a close-up on that. Kieran says Kerry look rusty. They do a little bit, to be fair, yeah. They've obviously had, a 4-week layoff coming into this one. They've looked a little bit, it just hasn't quite been there. And let's not forget, Kerry haven't played a meaningful game, really, in the championship since, a meaningful game at all since Mayo in the league. And that was nearly, when was that? 2 months ago? That was in March, wasn't it? So, they haven't played a big game in a while, so it does look like that's sort of going in Mayo's advantage at the minute. But in fairness, Kerry are the side in front. Diarmuid O'Connor slots that free well over the bar, brings it back to a 1-point game. And, I definitely think the game is there for Kerry. Like, if they can get their decision-making right, it looks like Mayo are going man-to-man as they usually do. It doesn't look like Mayo have overly changed a lot. I just think Kerry have been a little bit sloppy in possession. I don't know what's going on with my TV here now. We lost some coverage on the TV there. Didn't know what was going on, but we're back up and running now. Mayo will have to throw the hammer after the hatchet. Well, look, when they do throw hammers and blows, especially at the end of games, they usually come up trumps. But look, to be fair, after getting that black card, obviously they conceded a goal as well. Just a couple of minutes prior, there was an opportunity there for Kerry to kick on, but Mayo have actually, brought it back to a 1-point game. So, I think although Kerry are like, you'd still expect Kerry to go up another level, but I do think Mayo have probably played the better football here so far. 35 minutes in, but we'll see what happens here. They're going direct into Jack Carney. Nothing really there. Kerry win the turnover. They're not really going to get much joy there. Kerry now kicking into Sean O'Shea, who's venturing forward. Jimmy says, if I'd been marking David Clifford after he'd scored his goal, I'd hit him back with 2 goals. Moral of the story, Mayo simply aren't good enough. Yeah, long way to go yet. But look, we'll wait and see what happens. There is chances there for Kerry, though, because they are, like, there is space there. They are able to hand pass through them at times. But they don't really seem to be backing themselves going for points. Like, they seem very fixated on sort of running through the middle. But here's a chance for a point, and that is a great score there from David Moran. Really, really well taken. And Kerry bring it back to a 2-score game or a 2-point game. Kerry will be happy, Kerry will be happy that they're in front. They haven't played at their brilliant best, but I think winning at this stage of the game is probably what's most important, really. A bit of a coming together there between 2 players. It was Diarmuid O'Connor on the ball and looked like he got pushed off the ball by the other Diarmuid O'Connor. So the clash of the O'Connors there. The 2 O'Connors going at it. Bit of a heavy challenge from Diarmuid O'Connor of Kerry. Gets a yellow card. Probably nothing more in it, to be fair. Just approaching half time. 3 minutes of injury time. Mayo have gone very direct from that. Oh, there's a goal chance here. Kerry with the opportunity, or Mayo with the opportunity, goes over the bar from Kevin McLaughlin. Huge chance. And it goes over the bar. Did he go for the point or did he go for goal? It looks like, I'm not too sure what he went for there, but some awful defending from Kerry. I mean, McLaughlin has so much time on the ball. He could have probably moved it further in. A huge chance there for Mayo to have gone in front, but it goes over the bar. Kerry poor from the kick out. Can Mayo have a chance, or do Mayo have a chance to potentially level the game going into the second half? It's been wayward from Kerry so far. It hasn't been vintage, but they are a point in front. Mayo are down to 14 men for the moment, though, but here they come on the attack. This could be a chance to level the game. Wide from Paddy Durkin there. So you'd have to imagine that will be half time. And Mayo will have plenty to do. We'll have plenty to play in the second half. Yeah, definitely, a level to go up on for both sides, you'd have to say. Kerry, obviously, a point to the good here at the moment. Kerry yeah, Kerry not at their brilliant best, you'd have to say. The goal at the end there from David Clifford probably saves their bacon a little bit, just a point in front. I think Mayo have got better as the game has gone on. They started quite slow, but I think they've improved a lot more so as the match has gone on. But look, there's still a long way to go, still a second half to go, and I still fancy Kerry to squeeze through, but I think if the game is 2-3 points going down the home stretch, I think it suits Mayo more than Kerry, because Mayo have been there. Mayo have been in those positions a lot of the time. When Kerry have been in those positions, they've rarely come through. The last time Kerry won a championship game of any significance was 2019 against Tyrone. They couldn't see out the Dubs in the All Ireland final that year. When Dublin were down to 14 men for the majority. They couldn't see out Tyrone either. Obviously you had that Cork game a couple of years ago as well. So there is question marks over this Kerry side. So if you're going down the home stretch into the final sort of 2, 3, 4 minutes, that could be a worry. That could be a concern. But at the same time, I do think the chances are there for Kerry because they've cut through Mayo's defence on a couple of occasions. And, they obviously get themselves a goal from Clifford. Paul Gainey misses another opportunity as well. So I think from a Mayo perspective, there is a lot to work on defensively there. And I think, if Kerry keep playing the same way that they're playing in terms of running through that Mayo defensive line, I would fancy them to get a couple more goals. But look, at the same time, Mayo will take confidence and arguably should be in front of half-time because Kevin McLaughlin, with that chance right at the death, that was a huge, huge opportunity. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the first half of the game between both Kerry and Mayo. It's been a mental game of Gaelic games, and this one could still potentially go on further. Like this could go to extra time, possibly penalties. I mean, imagine we got 2 games on penalties on the one day. That would be absolutely nuts, wouldn't it? That would be insane. That would be absolutely insane. But look, we'll obviously have to wait and see what happens. Just putting out a quick tweet there. Podge says, how do you want, or who do you want, Mayo or Kerry? I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest. I don't really know as a Dublin fan who I want. The idea of a Dublin-Kerry game, Dublin-Kerry games are, it's like the El Clasico in many ways. It's the 2 most successful teams in All-Ireland Senior Football Championship. And, considering the players that have been on show for Dublin and Kerry in the last 10 years, we haven't really seen too many meetings between Dublin and Kerry. Like they had the 2019 final and the replay. They obviously met in 2016. But that was it. So Kerry and Dublin haven't had too many big championship games down the years. Mayo kind of they came over that voodoo of beating the Dubs last year. Be nice to beat them in the semi-finals and get revenge, but I don't really know, to be honest. Having watched Kerry in that first half, I wouldn't really fear them too much, to be honest. But we'll obviously have to wait and see, sort of going into the game when it does come around, and obviously going into the second half. Just looking at the scores, Clifford with 1-2 so far, O'Shea with a point, Gainey with a point, Gavin White and Moran on the score sheet, Killian O'Connor with 3, Robbie Henley, Stephen Cohen all on the score sheet, Aidan O'Shea getting himself a point as well, Jack Carney on the score sheet, and I missed the other scorer there, was just reading it out from RT. So let's see what we have here. Stephen Cohen with a point as well, Kevin McLaughlin on the score sheet. So yeah, interesting game so far. I mean, conditions starting to lighten up, it must be said here so far. Rory says, how did Mayo beat them in 2017? Mayo just have this thing, where in these big games, in these close games outside of All-Ireland finals, they tend to turn up and sort of make it an occasion. And Mayo always thrive in the chaos. When games get chaotic, games get crazy, Mayo thrive in them. Like, it's their bread and butter. It's their DNA. They've done it so many times, even in All-Ireland finals, to be fair, even though they haven't won an All-Ireland final since 1951. You think of 2016, you think of 2017, and when those games got mental, like, Mayo thrived in it. Whereas Kerry, not so much. When games have got chaotic, this Kerry team in particular, anyway, since they last won an All-Ireland in 2014, they haven't been able to come through. They haven't been able to come through the lines. Thoughts on the Greg McCabe red card? Yeah, it was a clear shoulder into the neck, really. So, it was a clear red card in my opinion. I know I seen Philly McMahon online saying, you can't take the shoulder out of the game, but at the same time, you can't take the shoulder out of the game, but it should be shoulder to shoulder. You can't be shouldering people into the neck or into the face. You know what I mean? Because then you could cause some serious bodily harm there. So I think a red card was, in real time when I seen it, I thought it was quite harsh. And seeing the reactions of the players, I thought it was a bit harsh. But I think when you see the replay, especially when it was slowed down as well, I think it was a clear red card. I don't think you can look either way, to be honest. But yeah, just seeing some of the highlights there on RT of the first half. It's hard to know who will be the happier. Like, I think both sides. I think Mayo will be relatively happy that they're not. It's not like the league final. But then again, I don't think it was ever going to be like the league final, because it's a completely different game, and it's a completely different kettle of fish to what we've seen in the league final. Completely different players on show. And considering, Ryan O'Donoghue was injured coming into the game, I think Mayo will be relatively happy. Just seeing the O'Shea black card there again. I mean, it just looks like a tangle between two players. I can't see who the Kerry player is. It just kind of looks like a tangle between two lads. I suppose it does look like Aidan O'Shea's maybe the aggressor and brings him down. It's right in front of the referee. Referee can see it right in front of him, right in front of David Goff. So you'd have to imagine there that he's seen it right in front of him and he's got the right decision. Rory says, would you still have the Dubs the dominating force in the championship? Yeah, it's hard to know. Like, I think Kerry are probably the best team on paper. But they do obviously have vulnerabilities themselves. Dublin have obviously won 6 of the last 7 available All-Irelands. Won 7 of the last 8 available All-Irelands. So, or 7 of the last 9 All-Irelands, you could say. So Kerry have, Dublin are a serious football team, and it's going to take a tough team to beat them. But you're seeing Kerry haven't had a significant challenge up until this game. If they come through it, they'll go into the Dublin game a lot more prepared than Dublin, because Dublin didn't really learn much yesterday, didn't really have much of a test. And I think that could be an issue, because you're seeing Kerry make a couple of mistakes here that you've seen Mayo make in other games. And, when you make mistakes, you learn. And Kerry haven't had a chance to make mistakes. So, the championship structure really probably doesn't suit Kerry, to be perfectly honest. Podge says, says, I think atmosphere today looks better than yesterday. Yeah, it definitely does. A lot more. Armagh fans obviously travelling up in large numbers. Mayo fans, as we love to know, love to travel. So yeah, definitely a much better atmosphere. I mean, the Derry fans obviously brought the colour, brought the noise yesterday. A lot of them stuck around after their win over Clare. So it was sort of the Derry fans who created really the atmosphere yesterday. There was a big section of Derry fans actually on the hill as well, and singing throughout the entirety of the game, making a lot of noise. So yeah, it was fairly intense, to be honest. Yeah, just going into the second half here anyway. Let me know your predictions going into the second half. I think it's a hard one to know. I think like Kerry have been able to play through Mayo on a couple of occasions. They've obviously been kicking directly into Clifford's, into Gainey, and they've created a lot of goal chances and goal opportunities. And if they're a little bit more clinical in front of goal, I think the game is there for them. But I think the more they give Mayo confidence in terms of the turnovers, I think that might cause them. That might be a couple of problems for Kerry really to deal with, because I think the longer this game stays close and stays as a 2-point game or a 1-point game, Mayo will grow in confidence and will feel that they have a chance. Just having a look there, I don't think Ryan O'Donoghue was on the bench, so Fergal Boland's made a big difference coming off the bench for Mayo in the last couple of games. Could you see him come on? You've got James Carr on the bench. You've got Mark Moran on there, interestingly enough, as well. Aidan Orme will probably come on. Jason Doherty. But you look at Kerry's bench and it is a little bit weakened with a couple of injuries, but you do have Tony Brosnan and Killian Spillane to come on. Could we see Stefano Cumber come on maybe? So, there's a couple of options there for Kerry, most certainly on the bench. Rory says, I think Dublin will come out angry in the semis. Yeah, I mean, look, obviously after what's happened to Dublin this year, with the defeat to Mayo, getting relegated, and obviously losing to Mayo in the semi-finals last year. I think Dublin maybe do have a bit of a chip on their shoulder, and we've seen that a little bit this year through the championship with how well they've started. But it's a completely new game and it's a different ball game, and once the game starts, all that kind of goes out the window, to be honest. So, look, we'll obviously wait and see. But I think either way, whoever comes through this game and obviously plays Dublin, I think realistically, you're probably looking at the All-Ireland favourite from that corner. Like I'd probably fancy Derry to get the better of Galway. I think Galway have got a lot of very good attackers, a lot of very good players, but I could see Derry beating them, to be honest. But yeah, Dublin want revenge for last year. I'm sure they will. And Dublin haven't gone more than 2 years without winning an All-Ireland since their 16-year drought between 95 and 2011. So, that will stand to the Dubs. And at the end of the day, out of the 4 teams that will be remaining, Dublin have got All-Ireland winners in their team, whereas Derry, Galway, Dublin, Derry, Galway, and the winner of Kerry Mayo, not many All-Ireland winners there. Maybe David Moran of Kerry, Paul Gainey, but not too many All-Ireland winners going into the semi-finals. But we'll see what happens. Just waiting for the second half anyway. It looks like one of the teams are coming back out to play. Obviously, Aidan O'Shea still has his black card, so he'll be gone for probably about another 2 or 3 minutes, I'd say. And then he should be back out to the field. What has surprised me is we haven't seen Kerry being as overly defensive as what we've seen from him in the other games. Like Mayo have been able to kick kick into the full forward line, into the likes of Aidan O'Shea or into the likes of Jack Carney. And that chance at the end from Kevin McLaughlin, like that was a big opportunity for Mayo. So, Kerry just need to watch themselves a little bit defensively. 71,000 in attendance. Yeah, 71,000 in total. Largest event, I think, in Ireland post-COVID. So, great to see. I'd imagine so. Maybe one of the concerts filled something else out. But in terms of a sporting event, anyway, that's definitely the largest attendance. So, 71,000, obviously great to see. Armagh fans would have brought large numbers. Mayo fans would have brought large numbers. Galway and Kerry don't really, Galway don't really travel for football. Kerry don't really travel at all. So, unless they're in an All-Ireland final. So, James Carr's come on here for the second half, just underway. Jack Carney's gone off. Be interested to see if that's an injury. I mean, Carney did kick a point in the first half. James Carr hasn't really made too much of an impact, really, in the last couple of games he's played. So we'll obviously have to wait and see there. But Mayo in possession here early on. Can they get themselves a score and level the game? It would certainly be crucial if they could. Now in possession with Stephen Cohen. Mayo taking the sting of the game. You can see they're sort of using that experience they've gained through the years. They're not rushing anything. They've definitely been a lot better in possession in this game, you'd have to say, than the Dublin game. It must be said. Mayo still in possession here. Nothing really happening here at the minute, it must be said. Kerry turning Mayo over. Nothing really started here in the second half. Just Mayo slow in possession and getting turned over. Didn't really make anything of it. Mayo obviously still have their black card. You'd imagine Aidan O'Shea will be coming back on the field in the next minute or so. Are Kerry going to be a bit more? Mayo just very ferocious in the turnovers. Brilliant from Kevin McLaughlin. And now they're looking to counter-attack themselves, and they kick directly into Jeremy O'Connor. He plays it back into Lee Keegan, who's venturing forward. Lee Keegan with the outside of the right boot. Effort. Wide. We've seen Lee Keegan do that so many times down the years, but not this time around. Niall says, is Killian O'Connor, I presume you mean there. Yeah, no, he's playing. Kerry winning the kick out in possession. Joshua says, how long is left? There is about half an hour left. 22 minutes. 32 minutes plus injury time. Here's David Clifford. 1v1 with Oisin Mullen. Looks to kick in. Not quite there. Possession's won by Robbie Hennelly. Needs to get through. Is he going to win the foul? He is. So yeah, just not quite. Kerry are getting themselves into good shooting positions at times, but they're just not backing themselves. Like, they're not backing themselves for points, and it hasn't been great from Kerry. And I think there is a chance here for Mayo. They kick directly in there, but again, nothing comes of it. Both sides just sort of turning each other over. A bit of a stalemate, bit of a lull here between both sides after 39, 40 minutes. Who scored the goal? David Clifford with the finish. He scored 1-2 so far. And Kerry venturing forward here. Sean O'Shea. It's been brilliant brilliant market, I have to say, from Mayo. Like they've got so tight to the Kerry forwards. They haven't allowed Kerry to have much chance, like to have much opportunity for kicking points or kicking from distance. They've done really well at that, Mayo, to give them credit. And they're getting a lot of turnovers. Now Matthew Rowan on possession. Federico, that is a long name, my man. Love the name. Hon Mayo is what Federico says there. And Mayo venturing forward, dropping it short there from Matthew Rowan. They need to take advantage of this, in my opinion, because they're getting turnovers. They're getting themselves into good positions. But they're just not quite capitalising on it on the minute. Johnny says sloppy match. Yeah, it's been very sloppy so far. It has been very sloppy. No points so far in the second half. Still 1-7-9. Both sides just, lackluster a little bit in terms of shooting. Weather conditions are playing their part. Here comes Tom O'Sullivan venturing forward. Could be a chance for another goal. He takes the point over the bar. And Kerry go 2 to the good. The first point of the second half. Tom O'Sullivan, who has kicked a couple of scores now. 2 points from him so far in this game. So he's getting himself into good positions, it must be said, at times. And here come Mayo now venturing forward. Can they respond? They need to get themselves. It's been a while since they got a point, and they need to start taking these opportunities. That looks like a point there. Surely is it Keegan? It looks over the bar. Over the bar, indeed, it is from Mayo, and it was number 10 there. I'm not too sure who that is. Darren Cohen, I think it is it? Jordan Flynn with the point. So yeah, Mayo, big point there, big point. And just a point in it, and if it's a close game going down the home stretch, Mayo would probably have the advantage. Here comes the Kerry goalkeeper getting out. We haven't seen him do this too many times, the Kerry keeper. Federico says great match before Galway versus Armagh. Yeah, it's been like the quality hasn't quite been there from both sides. It hasn't maybe been as good as what we've expected. I don't know if conditions have kind of played its part. It hasn't been as free flowing, but look, it's a spectacle. It's close. Both sides have been sloppy at times. Kerry in possession now, running through the middle. Could there be a chance here? It looks like there is. Surely that's over the bar, and it looks like it is. It's a wonderful score there with the right boot. It's the other Kerry cornerback who's getting in on the action this time around. Kerry 1-9 to 10 points. They retake a 2-point lead, and Graham O'Sullivan this time around. Mayo just need to stick with Kerry, I feel. Just stay with them, whether it's a 1-2 point game. They can't afford, in my opinion, to fall too far behind. And in fairness, they have been sticking with Kerry for 43 minutes here so far. That's a looping ball that might drop short. Oh, it's a bit chaotic. Dropped from the goalkeeper. Mayo in possession. Kerry well worked defensively. The Kerry goalkeeper's off his line. It looks like Mayo are going to go for the score, and they will get the score. And it's well taken from Matthew Rowan, and Mayo back in the game again, back to a 1-point game. The long ball, we've seen that obviously in the Armagh Galway game. Galway struggling with those long balls, and Kerry 1-9, Mayo 11 points. Yeah, Kerry a point in front here against Mayo going into the final 25 minutes. Niall says Kerry need Colm Cooper. I think everyone needs a bit of Colm Cooper in their life, to be fair. I mean, they have good enough forwards. I mean, they have David Clifford. I mean, he's basically like a Colm Cooper regen, if not even better, to be honest. But he certainly has been nursing some sort of an injury in this game. He has been very quiet. Got himself a goal, 2 points, to be fair. So, when he's been involved, he's been all right, but it probably hasn't been maybe as good as what you'd usually see from him. Could still go to extra time. This one could potentially be more. And here come Mayo now venturing forward. They get the turnover. Can they get the next score and level the game? 1-9 to 11 points. They've gone on the attack. There is a dropping short off the post. Bounces back out. That was a chance there for Mayo, but Kerry have the ball again. But they lose possession again. Just sort of being wayward here, Kerry. Like, they're just inviting pressure onto themselves. Paddy Durkin. And that's a poor effort, really, there, I think, from Jordan Flynn. And, Mayo, I mean, you look at that chance that hits the post. You've obviously got Stephen Cohen far up the pitch. Like, how many times do you see chances sort of hit off the post and then bounce back out? If Mayo can keep doing this, they could get a goal. They certainly won't be far away. They might get a chance for a goal here now. They've kicked in. Kerry have possession. They should be able to kick a point from there. And they've kicked a wide. That's a sloppy wide there from Matthew Rowan. He should be putting them over. Very, very sloppy there. And Mayo they're just leaving a couple of points behind them here. Like, I don't think Kerry have played well, really. Like, I don't think they've been at their best. And there's been chances here for Mayo. Ocean Gamer says, "Who are you up for?" Well, I'm a Dublin fan, so I don't really know. Like, I'm not really up for anyone, really. Like, I think getting either a Kerry or a Mayo in a semi-final, difficult test either way. There's no better team to play. It'd be nice to see Dublin and Kerry. It's been a while since we've seen that, but I can't really justify supporting Kerry either, to be honest. So, yeah, it's kind of a hard one to choose. Dublin, Kerry and Mayo are two big rivals. So, yeah, I was thinking of something there, but yeah, Niall says the last 5 minutes will tell for Mayo. Well, look, we've seen Mayo sort of, have that turning point. That's a big kick there from David Clifford from the free on the right-hand side. Kerry go back 2 points in front, and, Mayo Mayo leaving those chances behind them. And I think Kerry will take the confidence. Clifford obviously claims the mark. And then slots it over the bar. Joshua says, "Is Aiden back on?" He sure is. And Mayo win the result and kick out. They need to score, Mayo, just to, again, keep it as a 1 point game and sort of so they can put some of those wides and miss chances behind them. Here's a chance, and there's a point. That's a really, really well taken score from James Carr, I think, who came off the bench. That is a really, really well taken point. Done really well. It must be said on Tom O'Sullivan, who was marking him. It was James Carr. Really, really well taken point there. So back to a 1-score game again. 1-10 to 12 points. Really nothing between these sides. I don't think there's been more than a 2-point lead at all in this game. I think 2 points has been the biggest margin between either side in this game so far. It's been very, very close. Kerry loose in possession, though. They give the ball away. Mayo have possession again. Aidan O'Shea, who came on, won it. There's a chance here for Mayo. There's a real chance. I don't think Kerry have played well. The passing hasn't been there. They've looked a little bit leggy, lethargic. I don't know. It just hasn't been there from Kerry. It just doesn't look right. And I think there is a chance here for Mayo, but they just need to be a bit more accurate in front of goal. They're in possession. Can they work something here? They're going to be calm in possession. They're not going to rush anything. You see Kerry being very, a lot of men behind the ball there, limiting the space. There's nowhere really for Mayo to kick into. There's a lot of space sort of in front of the D area there. In possession of the ball here. Are they going to back themselves for the points? Wide from German O'Connor. And again, Mayo they're just not quite getting it. Johnny says Sean O'Shea has shown flashes, but it just doesn't seem he hasn't been very much involved. Yeah, similar with Clifford as well. Like, he hasn't really been in the game, but like when Clifford's had the ball, he's usually done things right with it. He's on the ball now. He's 1v1 with Oisin Mullen. And he's probably going to score, you'd have to imagine. Now he puts it wide. Shake it ahead from Clifford. It hasn't been free-flowing from Kerry, but they do still have the lead. And Mayo haven't led, really, since the opening couple of minutes of the game. 20 minutes to go. Mayo this time just dilly-dallying on the ball. Lee Keegan, he's surely going to get overturned for over-carrying. Kerry have the ball, the line ball, and now they have a chance maybe to make it a 2-point game again. A lot of space here. Mayo opened up a little bit. He's surely going to take the points. He does. David Moore, I think it was there, puts it over the bar, and Kerry 2 points in front of game. It's a bit like a seesaw, this game. It's a 2-point game, then it's a 1-point game. No, but Kerry just about doing enough at the minute. They haven't been brilliant, but they've been just about doing enough. And what you would have to say is fair play to David Moore, because he hasn't played too much for Kerry this year, from what I remember, and he's kicked 2 points in this game. So he's had a very, very good game, to be fair. In terms of point scoring, anyway. Mayo win the resulting kick out again. They've won a lot of kickouts. Like, they've had a lot of possession on the ball. They've done a lot right, Mayo, but again, it's just been shooting in front of goal. And does it come back to that same old sort of thing that Mayo don't have the forwards to win an All-Ireland? They don't have the players. And you'd have to imagine so, looking at this game, because they just dropped a couple of chances, a couple of misses, and it's all right when it gets to the forwards. Without O'Donoghue and without Conroy, they probably are just lacking a bit, Podge says, do you think it will go extra time? I mean, it could do. Like, there really hasn't been much between the teams. We know that Mayo surge is surely going to come in the final sort of 15 minutes. They get a good turnover there. Matthew Rowan kicks into, or hand passes it in to James Carr, who's just come on. He drops it short. Kerry goalkeeper gathers it no butter, and Mayo have left another opportunity behind them. It must be very frustrating, I'd say, watching as a Mayo fan at times, because you do so much right, but the shooting just lets you down. Gainey kick it in. Sean O'Shea gets overturned, but he still has the ball. He's done all right. Into Killian Spillane, who's come off the bench. It's over the bar, and it's a 3-point game. And Kerry are just starting to build up a bit of an advantage now. And Kerry 112, Mayo 12 points. Kieran Casey says, if Dublin are watching this, yeah, I think Dublin, as a Dublin fan myself, you'd be looking at this and thinking Kerry have shown a lot of vulnerabilities for Dublin to work on. Kerry haven't been great. I think they're going to look at Hawkeye for this point, So this mightn't have been over the bar from Killian Spillane. Let's see what happens here. No. It's not a point, so it's still 111. So just when you thought Kerry had built up, a bit of breathing space, obviously would have been a 3-point advantage, but Hawkeye intervenes and it stays as a 2-point game. That will go down as a wide from Killian Spillane. Marty says, how long is left in the match? There is about 16 minutes plus injury time. So Padge says, I thought that was inside. Yeah, I mean, it looked it in real time, but obviously when you look at Hawkeye, it clearly is a wide, isn't it? So Mayo again, not really doing that. And like, do they need something from the bench, Mayo? But they don't really have anything. Like, they brought James Carr on. Do they throw Aidan Orme on? Do they do something different and bring on Mark Moran? You know what I mean? They brought Fergal Boland on there now. Like, I know Mark Moran hasn't played a minute at all, I think, for Mayo this year. But maybe just put him on the field. Like, it's just a bit different, and he is a good forward. Like, I don't really understand why he doesn't get much game time. Marty says, who you think winning All Ireland? I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I backed Kerry before a ball was kicked this year, and maybe Derry, to be honest. You know what I mean? Maybe Derry I don't know. Dublin, I'm sure, will have a chance, but look, there's a long way to go. Yeah, Kerry are now in possession. Oh, it's a wonderful bit of football here. And there's a chance for a second goal. It's over the bar from Tom O'Sullivan. It's his 3rd point of the game. He's almost playing a full forward at times. It does go to a 3-point game. But that was a chance, really, for Kerry to put the nail in the Mayo coffin. And that maybe, with the fact it goes over the bar, they're just still alive, but only by an instance, only a little bit here. They really need to start scoring. They look a bit leggy, Mayo, now, and usually this is the time where Mayo come alive, but they do look a little leggy, it must be said. Padge says, I think it will be a Dublin Derry final. Yeah, I think Dublin will take confidence from maybe Kerry's lackluster performance, but look, they're still in front, and they've still done a lot right, to be fair to them. It just maybe hasn't been as good as what we expected, but I do think you have to give credit to Mayo's defence, because I do think they've done very well at stopping Kerry from sort of kicking from distance. Here's a chance for Gainey. Should go over the bar. It does. Moves to a 4-point game, the biggest lead we have seen in the game so far. So Kerry really now in a fantastic position, it must be said, to qualify for the All-Ireland semi-finals for the 2nd year in a row. For those who are watching the stream, if you could hit the like button, if you could, completely free. Subscribe if you're new as well. Plenty of live streams and all the rest. I will be doing a live watch-along as well for the All-Ireland semi-finals for the Dublin and Kerry game, as it looks right now. We'll 100% be doing a watch-along for that. So, yeah. Patricia says Mayo for Sam. As a Dublin fan, have you seen Sam in person? I sure have, my man. 2020. 2016, 2017, 2015, 2011, 2013. A lot of times, But Kerry are putting on the afterburners now. Mayo are struggling, really, and Mayo just look leggy, and Kerry are really turning it on now. 114 to 12 points, and yeah, it's a long way back here for Mayo now. They need a goal. They need something, really, and I just don't think they've quite had the forwards or the players really to deliver. But here they come now, coming down the other end. They play it in. Chairman O'Connor, they need a point, looking to play it into Padraig O'Hara. Nothing really doing. Kerry venturing forward. It's a brilliant turnover from Mayo, though. Was Gavin White fouled, or has he called a foul? Or I think it's a foul in the end. Padge says Kerry are running away with it. Yeah, they are running away with it a little bit now. They've just started to, I think their bench has made more of an impact. Killian Spillane, obviously, he's kicked a point coming off the bench. He's made a bit of an impact. Micheál Burns is coming on now for Stephen O'Brien. Like, Kerry just have more options in their defence, more options, all around the field, and Mayo probably just haven't quite had the same options really in terms of coming off the bench. It's been a long time since Mayo scored now as well. I think James Carr was the last score they got. Yeah, like Mayo haven't scored since the 48th minute. So, do you know what I mean? It's been a long time now since been a long time since Mayo have scored. About 12 minutes nearly now. Kerry venturing forward with Gavin White. They lose possession, Kerry, but looks like they have it back with Sean O'Shea. And bit chaotic there at the minute. It looks like it's gone out for a wide ball in the end. Tony says, up the kingdom. Patricia says, Mayo needs something special. They do. You know, they need a bit like the Armagh game. You know what I mean? Like where Armagh got 2 goals from absolutely nothing. You know, you'd have to imagine that that's what probably Mayo need right now. A lot of reaching for Mayo is what Johnny says there. Eaton says, do you think Armagh have done good? I mean, yeah, like they've had a good season. I mean, it's harsh losing on penalties. You know, it's like a lottery in many ways. I mean, really, it was a drawn game. Do you know what I mean? But obviously goes to penalties. Here comes Aidan O'Shea. And Mayo now in possession, offloads it out. Mayo need a score. They need to do something here. They need to start kicking. Kerry are just very well set up defensively. Ball's gone in there. Have Mayo kept it alive? They haven't. It's been wide, I think. It's gone wide, and yeah, it just doesn't. It looks like a long way back here for Mayo, to be perfectly honest. It looks like Kerry are going to see this one through, and the wait for Sam for Mayo is going to go on another year, unfortunately. 5 points in it. Mayo's last score was in the 48th minute. As I said, Mayo have done well. Like they've got another turnover here. Like they've got turnovers. They've done well in midfield, and they haven't done bad defensively. But you know, it's been the forwards. It's been the attack, and you know, I think the injuries of Tommy Conroy and Ryan O'Donoghue has just come back to haunt them, unfortunately. Ethan says, are you a Dub fan? I sure am, my man. Dublin true and true. They'll obviously be awaiting the winners in the semi-finals, which is looking like Kerry here at the minute. And there is a kick inside. That looks like it's curled in, and it has. It's a wonderful score from Paul Gainey, and it moves into a 6-point game. Kerry 115, Mayo 12 points. And Patch says Kerry are looking comfortable. They're looking very comfortable now. And Mayo just look like they've ran out of energy. They've ran out of steam, ran out of ideas. And it's kind of reminiscent in some ways to the Tyrone game last year in the All-Ireland final, where Kerry just pulled away late on. But there's a ball. There's a bit of space there. If it was a better ball, like there was a chance there. Aidan O'Shea looked like a foul. David Goff's going to call a foul there. Like Jeremy O'Connor was in a lot of space. It just needed a better ball, and there might have been a chance. I'm not too sure. Is it a free in, I think? Or is the referee going to throw it in? We'll see what happens here. But yeah, Kerry, 6 points to the good going down the home stretch now, going into the final 7 minutes. You'd have to imagine at this stage that Kerry are very much home and hosed. I mean, unless Mayo can do the unthinkable, and even by their standards, I mean, you couldn't quite see it happen, but I mean, you never know. And Mayo making themselves a change. Aidan O'Shea leaves the pitch. Obviously, the last time Aidan O'Shea left the pitch at Croke Park in a big championship game, Padraig O'Hara might do something. Yeah, look, I mean, Mayo needs something at this stage. Maybe they should throw Lee Keegan up up in the half forward line or something like that, because it's not working at the minute for Mayo. Jeremy O'Connor of Mayo's got a yellow card. And yeah, it's just it's a long way back for Mayo here. It looks game over for Mayo, even if Mayo gets a goal, is what Noel says. Yeah, I mean, they need a couple of goals really, and in fairness to Kerry, they've stuck to the game plan, and it hasn't been vintage from Kerry, but it's a big championship win, and it will stand to them. And there's another chance here for a goal. They take the point instead. They could have killed the game entirely from Sean O'Shea. He could have just finished it there for definite, but I think it's really over already, isn't it? 7-point game now. And Kerry are just they're cruising now to the All-Ireland semi-finals, and it is looking very much like Dublin and Kerry will be that All-Ireland semi-final. How are these people spamming the chat? Like, Padge says, I think it's over. Yeah, I think it is, mate. I think it is. Mayo haven't scored since the 48th minute. Like, they've gone nearly 20 minutes without a score. Like, it's looking like that James Carr point is going to be their last score of the championship. And, is this James Horan's last roll of the dice for Mayo? It looks like it is. I can't imagine he'd be in charge next year. Mayo have won a lot of ball around midfield. They've turned Kerry over time and time again, but it just hasn't quite been there for them. And here come Kerry again. A chance to get another score, a chance to go 8 in front. And it's over the bar again, and Kerry are just turning on the style now. This time it's Paul Gainey, who's been excellent, probably been man of the match in my opinion from Kerry. 117 to 12 points. Mayo are finished. They're gone now. Like, this is over. Even by Mayo standards, if Mayo turned this around from here, it'd be one of the greatest comebacks of all time. But I just don't see it. I don't see it from here. Another chance for Mayo, drop short. It's just not good enough, really, is it? Not really good enough. 2 big semi-finals in July. Sure will be. Derry, Galway, Dublin, Kerry, and Mayo look like they're finally going to get a score, and they are. Put over by Jordan Flynn. Too little, too late, unfortunately, from a Mayo perspective. I think they need a couple of goals, really, and they need to start going for goals, but we just haven't really seen that from them. James Horan watching on. Do Kerry have what it takes to see this game through? You'd have to imagine so at this rate. Plays it in. Good turn here from Micheál Burns, who's come on. This is becoming a rinsing. Mayo and James Horan need to part company, is what Noel says. Yeah, I think this will be the end of the road for James Horan, to be honest. He's been this is his 4th year in charge of a second spell. He was 4 in his first spell as well. Like, I think 8 years in charge in total. No All-Ireland delivered. Yeah, outside of the boot effort there from one of the Kerry players, and I think the referees actually might be calling it back for for a foul, potentially. It was Paddy Clifford, I think, on the ball there. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the game. Anyway, I mean, man of the match would be an interesting shout. Maybe Paul Gainey, to be fair. Is Paddy Clifford on the field? He sure is. Yeah, he's had, he hasn't scored, but he's been a part of Kerry attacks, and he's certainly been involved. Anyway, he's probably played more of a defensive role, to be fair. How long before the game ends is what Abdullah says. There's probably we're going into injury time, so not a long left, to be fair. Johnny says Kerry can be scary. Clifford and O'Shea with subpar games. Just think what Kerry can be with those two on their A game. Yeah, it's a fair point, isn't it? And Clifford, he's looked a bit stiff at times. He's looked like he's kind of had an injury, and he hasn't been at his best. But I suppose it is what it is, really. And a good point there from Sean O'Shea. And Kerry 118, Mayo 13 points. Kerry move back into an 8-point lead, and yeah, it's game over. And unfortunately, I'll be curious to know what Mayo fans think. You never know after Armagh's 2 goals. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it is true. But Armagh had 8 minutes of injury time. Mayo only have 3 minutes left here. So we'll see what happens. Bit of a coming together between 2 players there. Kerry 4 minutes away from facing Dublin, yeah. Be the first time the 2 teams have met since 2019, that replay. What team do you think has done the best? Probably Kerry overall. I don't think they've been at their best. I certainly think they have another gear to go up on. They looked a little rusty in the first half, and Clifford looks like he maybe was nursing a bit of an injury. Sean O'Shea hasn't been involved too much, but they kicked 118 and they're about to beat Mayo by 8 points. So I think they'll be very, very happy, and they'll take some learnings from this game, whereas Dublin probably won't take any more learnings. Clifford, you'd have to imagine, is going to be fully fit going into, or he'll be back. He'll have another, he'll have 2 weeks rest. So you'd imagine he'll recuperate by the time that game comes around. And then I suppose to add that on, Robbie Henley's launched the ball in there, but nothing really doing. Con O'Callaghan might not be fit apparently for the semi-finals. Race against time. So we'll have to wait and see. I think Kerry will probably be going into the Dublin game as the favourites. But obviously we'll have to wait and see until that game comes around. Irish says, I'm from Kerry and I'm worried about facing Dublin. Yeah, I mean, look, Dublin, Kerry haven't beaten Dublin in the championship since 2009. Jack O'Connor was in charge that year. So, it's been a long time since Kerry beat Dublin in the championship. Padge says, do you think Galway can win the double? I don't think they'll beat Limerick in the hurling, to be honest. And I'd fancy Derry. in the other semi-final. But look, if they can win both their semi-finals, they'll go into the finals as favourites. And to have both codes in All Ireland semi-finals is quite the achievement, really. And it's Galway will be very happy with that. Kerry just sort of passing it from side to side here, really taking the sting out of the game. Moving into the home stretch now. Just about a couple of seconds left into the 4th minute of injury time. You'd imagine the referee is going to blow the whistle anytime soon. And Mayo, who've gone 71 years without winning the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship, and that will happen. That will happen to be 72 now. Irish says, good luck, mate, against Kerry. Same to you, my man. Cheers for the comments. But yeah, Kerry Mayo with one last chance here to I mean, a goal isn't even going to make a difference at this point anyway. It might make the scoreline a bit more respectable. They'll probably just take the point here, will they? And that's a dreadful effort, isn't it? And that just sums it up for Mayo. Jordan Flynn blasts it wide, and I think that has been it really for Mayo. They just don't have the forwards, you know. Kieran says, "Nice to see you. A little disappointed that Kerry are home and host. The Dubs still have the fear." I'm not really disappointed. Like, you know, I wanted it to be a contest, wanted it to be a competitive game. You know, Dublin have big rivalries with both Mayo and Kerry. I mean, I'm kind of happy Mayo are gone because, you know, as a Dublin man, you don't want to see your rivals do well. So, and look, as I said earlier, I probably would have rather Dublin play Kerry because, you know, it'd be a better spectacle. You know, Dublin and Kerry, two of the most historic teams in the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship, the two most successful. And you think of the great players that are on show for both Dublin and Kerry, and they've only played each other once since 2016, you know. So we need Dublin and Kerry to play each other more. And we will get that now, which is great to see. Astonished it wasn't close. And that's it. Congrats, Kerry. Yeah, it is it. Full time. Kerry 118, Mayo 13 points. Kerry get the job done. We will do a match reaction a little bit later and discuss this game in a bit more brief detail. But Kerry, in the end, get the job done. 118 to 13 points. Kerry booked themselves into the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship semi-finals. Mayo's wait for Sam goes on for another year. It will be 2023 before Mayo win the All-Ireland. And the historic way, the curse lives on, unfortunately, and it is Kerry who progress. But yeah, cheers anyone who tuned into the stream. If you could hit the like button and subscribe, I would much appreciate it. We will be doing a match reaction a little bit later, and there will be a match day vlog out for both the Clare and Derry Dublin Cork game. I was at those games yesterday, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Plenty more content, videos, all the rest. Podcast to come tomorrow, breaking down the games in further detail. So stay tuned for that one. So yeah, cheers anyone who tuned in, and I will see you all.